Hello, everyone. How are you on this evening? Um, just want to bring you a few articles. One of them is on Cuba Gooding Jr. He was accused of rape in 2013. He loses a judgment in a default. And now this is a Jane Doe who did not file a police report, but she filed a $6 million lawsuit. And she stated that she had met him for drinks at a restaurant. He invited her to a hotel, invited her into his room. When they got up there, he immediately threw her on the bed and raped her, and she told him no. He raped her twice, but she never went to the police. But she filed a civil suit, and he did not show up for the hearing, so it went into default. And so he has until September 7th to address the case with the $6 million lawsuit. And of course, Gloria Allred is the attorney on this case. It's really interesting um, that um it's really interesting that this lady did not she did not file a police report or anything like that. Um so it's kind of sad that this stuff just keeps going on and on and on with this situation with these men. But of course, Gloria Allred is involved. And my thing is this: why didn't she file a police report? Why didn't she go to the hospital if she was raped? Because they could, once you go to the hospital, and you say you've been raped, they're definitely going to call the police in to take your statement. And I'm sure that once they get your statement, they will be leaving to go arrest the, perpetrator, alleged perpetrator. So it just sounds really interesting that you will file a lawsuit, but you won't go to the police department. And another thing, as women, we have to make better choices, which means shouldn't we, not knowing this man like that, you could have said, no, thank you. I'd rather not come up to your room. I'll just wait for you in the lobby. But why would you go up to a man's room that you don't know? A man is telling you he has to change his clothes. You don't really know him. So we just have to make better choices, women, when it comes down to how we are supposed to take care of ourselves, you know, in this situation. And then we have Richard Sherman. He's been accused of several different um, misdemeanors regarding a 911 incident where he's accused of domestic violence. They dropped a felony charge on him, but the 911 call is being investigated because it stated that the dispatcher was too harsh and was rude. So he's facing his own demons on that situation. And then we have Deshaun Watson, where Tony Busby takes a shot at Deshaun Watson, and he's trying to be funny when he talks about, you know, his wife getting a massage, and I'm sure it was professional and he wasn't grinding on the table and different things like that. But he's on his honeymoon, so why should he even be worried about Deshaun Watson? Really, Tony Busby, get a life. Really, you need to get a life. And then we have Trevor Bauer here. This woman is claiming that he roughed her up. She asked for rough sex, is what Trevor Bauer is saying. It was consensual, but he roughed her up. And so she's filing a claim against him as well for pain and suffering. But he said she wanted it rough. I don't know what woman would want something like that to happen, to want rough sex. I don't know. But again, this is his word against hers, of course, just like with these other women. And then we have Yacine Puig here. Now, this woman, she didn't file a police report. She's a business owner. They was at the Staples Center. The Staples Center is a pretty big, busy place. There's a lot of people going back and forth to the restroom. And after a Lakers game, there's a lot of people that will use the restroom before they get in their cars to head back to their destinations. She said that he pinned her arm up against the wall, he groped her, and he masturbated. He tried to take her clothes off. But during the game, he was flirting with her, and I believe she was flirting back. And somehow she gave him her phone number. Now, my question is, you want to hold him accountable by filing a lawsuit, but you refuse to file a police report. Now, why wouldn't you file a police report? And if you want to hold this man accountable, why wouldn't you hold him accountable by filing a police report? Because filing a civil suit and getting paid is really not holding this man accountable if he really sexually assaulted you. So it's not making sense that you just don't want it to happen to no one else. Then file a police report. And then you're saying that the type of business you do, that you have, you would give, that would be a possibility that you gave him your phone number for that reason. But you were sitting there with another person and your fiance. So when did you become afraid? When did you feel he was a creepy person and he was obsessed with you? Before you gave him your number or after your number, after giving him your number? Because you said he was creepy and he was obsessed with you. But yet and still you were sitting there and he was flirting with you back and forth. And you mean to tell me that your fiance didn't see any of that? And you didn't even share what happened with your brother. He found out about all that other stuff later. And now you're saying that, it's in your head and, and you're struggling with that pretty much. But guess what? I think your fiance found out about it. You wasn't upfront with him. You didn't tell him that, because you didn't want him to think you were flirting when you probably was flirting back with this guy. You were flirting because you gave him your number. Why would you give this man your number if you felt he was creepy and that he was obsessed with you? And then when you get to the restroom, he follows you in the restroom and pins your arm up against the wall where you can't get away. And no one heard. Did you scream? Because someone would have heard you in the Staples Center, because the Staples Center, there's a lot of people going back and forth. I don't understand this. Why you would not have screamed for someone to hear you. Guys, I just think, or ladies and gentlemen, forgive me, I don't mean to be offensive by saying guys, but I just really feel that a lot of these lawsuits that these women are filing, they just don't seem right. They seem bogus because no one's really filing a police report. Everyone is just filing these civil suits and getting money or trying to get money, and um they're not filing police reports, but they want to hold the man accountable for what he did. They don't want it to happen to other people, but yet and still they're not filing any type of police reports. They're not going to the hospital to be treated. Because if you've been raped, you should be at the hospital doing a rape kit and getting treatment. And if someone pinned my arm up against the wall like that, I mean, I think that there probably would be some arm pain eventually coming out of that, because you're trying to get away, and they got your arm up against the wall. Eventually that hurts with your arm up pinned up against the wall. You didn't try to fight back, you didn't scream. And of course, with this Gloria Allred, she's gonna show up, you know, and try to take every man down. And she always seems to be on the scene with at least one of these situations, at least one, or maybe two. I could be wrong, but she's always seems to be the attorney that's on the scene to represent these women. But there's no police report, there's no hospital report. I'm having a hard time just fathoming all of these lawsuits, civil suits against these men, but there's no police report. Make that make sense. If you are a real victim, contact the victim hotline. If you are a real victim, I mean, you know, is if you are a real victim, we want you to get the help that you need. Um, we want you to recover. We just don't want you to suffer in silence. But if you are not being truthful about your situation, it's really going to come out. Eventually the truth is going to come out. You know, God doesn't like ugly, and He doesn't like evildoers doing all these things and committing these sins. You know, um, your success will be short term when you're sitting up here making up all these stories. It's so sad. So if you are a real victim, the National Sexual Assault Hotline is available 24 hours. You guys know that. It's 1-800-656-4673. RAINN, RAINN, is the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization. You know, and it's important that if you are a real victim that you reach out, contact them. And if you're not, understand that your success is going to be short-lived. Your conscience is going to bother you for the rest of your life until you tell the truth, because sin is sin. No sin is greater than the other sin. And one other thing I want to address. These women that are sitting up here that are older than these men, these cougars, and they're having the audacity to talk about R. Kelly and they're cougars. How can you talk about R. Kelly messing with younger women when you're messing with younger men? Make that make sense. And there was I think a Brittany Renner, an Instagram model that was messing with an 18-year-old. And she's like, was what, a couple of weeks from her 27th birthday at the time? Why do you want to date an 18-year-old? And you're 26, almost 27 years old. I mean, come on, keep it real. But I don't see anyone talking about that. I don't see her going to jail or charges being filed on her for messing with an 18-year-old because he's considered grown. And those 18-year-olds are considered grown. And if they were 18 with R. Kelly, 19, they're considered grown. So how is it that there's double standards here when it comes down to the R. Kelly situation? His case. They've dragged this man, they've railroaded this man, they've violated his rights. But at the end of the day, God still loves him. Regardless of if you don't like him and you think he's guilty, God still loves him. And he loves him. He loves him no less than anyone else. No less, because God is no respecter of person. But these women like Vivica Fox, Jada Pinkett, all messing with younger men, way younger than them. But they have the audacity to talk about R. Kelly. And I don't like to bash anyone. I don't like to come out and say things. But you know what? The truth is the truth. Hold yourselves accountable for what you're doing. Stop judging people, lest you be judged. And let Mr. Kelly have his trial, go through his trial. Let him have his due process. Give this man the presumption of innocent until proven guilty. Because one of the things about it is that we are to obey the laws of the land. And this man was found innocent. He was found not guilty years ago. And the thing is that there's the laws of the land that we need to follow. And we know that God's going to hold us accountable for our sins and the morality. But we don't have a heaven or hell to put anyone in. But we are to obey the laws of the land. And as far as the judicial system, it's not I don't think it's the system itself. I think it's the people that work in the system. Because when you have people that are not doing what's right in the system, that's what makes it corrupt. You have corrupt prosecutors, corrupt judges, corrupt attorneys, and they're all working together. Corrupt district attorneys, they're working together to bring this man down. And everybody has jumped on this bandwagon, these crabs in the barrel. And when those people sit up here and say that they saw it and they know R. Kelly is guilty and they know he did it, if you so much saw that he did it, you're just as guilty as he is, because why didn't you report it? So this stuff about these people coming out saying, I know he did it, I know he did it. Well, if you know he did it, why didn't you report it when it was going on? Because a lot of you people are not being truthful. You're just jumping on bandwagons for likes and clicks and money, or whatever you're doing. But you know what? The love of money is the root of all evil. Because when you love money enough to hurt someone else and to destroy someone's livelihood and their life, then it's the root of all evil. And your money, you're going to constantly chase money. It's never going to last. You'll always be thirsty. You, let me tell you something. You may have bundles of water, but you will never be able to quench your thirst. You may have tons of money after this is over with, but you'll still be broke. You know why? You can have everything and still feel unfulfilled. Because when you don't have Christ in your life, guess what? You're walking in darkness and you're going to be unfulfilled. And especially chasing after someone else's money, you're going to be unfulfilled. And I just pray that if you are walking in darkness and you haven't accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and you have burdens on your heart of lying on men, lying about the circumstances and what transpired with your relationship with anyone that you have falsely accused or accused, and you haven't asked God for forgiveness, you haven't went and repented of your sins, guess what? You're not going to have peace in your life. You will never have peace. You may think so. You can run and run and run, but you cannot. There is no hiding place. You can't hide, and there's no hiding place. God sees everything. He knows everything. He hears everything, and He is watching. And all you people that continue to do wrong and to lie, it's going to come back on you. And while you are allowing these people, and I say these people, to use you to destroy another black man, they're going to use you up and spit you out. And they could care less if you're waddling in the mud. You know what? If they saw you waddling in the mud, they will walk right past you, look down at you, probably kick you while you're down, and keep on walking. They don't care nothing about you. Time's up, Me Too movement, they don't care anything about any of these women. They don't. Because I go back to this story of that 7-year-old that's probably 10 or 11, she may be older now, from Chicago, that 48 and 50-year-old men raped her in a hotel, and no one did anything about it until finally they listened to the hotel employees and the people that were residing there. And they put her in a mental ward, a psychiatric ward, and locked her up as if she did wrong. And I don't know that little girl, but that really hurt me to read that story. And I tried to pull it up just today, and it didn't come up anymore. They took it down. And I pray wherever she's at, that she is getting the help that she needs and she's protected, and that she's with a family that loves her unconditionally and that's nursing her back to health. Because the Me Too movement is not doing anything. The only thing they did was chase bags, and they used real victim stories to get rich. But you don't hear them really doing anything. And they keep on talking about R. Kelly. And it's just time, stop talking about it. His trial is coming. And if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything. Because this man is still a human being. He's still an American and a part of our society. And he deserves to have a fair trial. He deserves the right to good legal counsel. He deserves those things and to face his accusers. He deserves those things. And if you're being truthful, all of you accusers, you have nothing to worry about if you're telling the truth. But if you're lying, you have everything to worry about. And I pray you tell the truth, because when you tell the truth, it'll set you free. Now, if you purge yourself and they determine that you purge yourself on that stand, the truth will set you free. Now, there will be some consequences for your lies, but the truth will set you free on that stand. So, At the end of the day, R. Kelly is still a human being, just like Bill Cosby, just like all these other men that are being accused. They're still human beings. And they all have the presumption of innocence under the Constitution, the United States Constitution, until proven guilty. And so for women, if you're really not real victims, cut it out, get a job, earn your own money, do the right thing. If you're not a real victim, stop chasing other people's money. Get your own money. You know that thing about get your own bag or get your own box, the cheeses? Remember that? Get your own box of the cheeses. Yeah, get your own box. Get your own box, man. And if you've been with these men and they didn't give you what you wanted, then maybe you need to make better choices and protect yourself. Because a lot of these women are out here that are doing these things. It's like you want wife benefits on a girlfriend status. You want, that's what you want, wife benefits on a girlfriend status. And when they don't give you wife benefits because you're just a girlfriend or you're in a sexual ship, you get upset. And you think about it and you probably talk to your other girlfriends about it. And next thing you know, you contact an attorney and they file a civil suit, but there's not one police report to back up your allegations. Make that make sense. And I'm speaking out because I'm trying to figure this all out and try to make sense of all of this that's going on. Because I've never seen this, the life of me, that all of these lawsuits, these civil suits with no police reports. And I guess that's the climate that we live in now, is that we just make up stuff to get rich. And even with this LeBron James story, you mean to tell me her family didn't miss her while she was gone, while she was being held captive? When did he have time to hold her captive? Let's see if it gets any traction. And all it takes is for somebody to grab a hold of that story and keep moving with it. And this man has a family, he has a wife, but he held you captive. You know, mental health is real. Mental health is real. And either you're functioning healthy mentally, emotionally, and psychologically, or you're not. But there are resources and help available. And they will even do a tele video or telephone consult or televideo, Zoom, however they do it. But please get the help that you need. Because if you are out there making these false allegations, there's something to be said about that. You are broken, and we really want you to get the help you need so that you can heal. And the copyright disclaimer section 107 is a fair use doctrine in the United States copyright law that allows limited use, copyright law that allows limited use of copyrighted material without requiring permission from the rights holders, such as for commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, teaching, or scholarship. I thank everyone for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share the video, and also put your comments in the video. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all. God bless you.